Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button and welcome. I'm happy to have you. And I am going to just jump right in this. This is Mama Beauties here. And I am going to do a quick review over chapter 5 from Letters of Christopher. Okay, and as we go throughout this book, there are some experiences that I had that are my own personal experiences, and I am going to be sharing those with you as we hit those points in the book. Okay, so it does start out talking about their finances, and the author does say that it is very hard for her to be able to write this book because she only has one side of the story, and that Shanann is not able to defend herself. She is, God rest her soul, and that we cannot get her account of the story, that we only have what Chris is telling us. They also said that Chris told her that Shanann had complete control of their finances, that one time when Christopher sold a four-wheeler, he sold it for way less than what the payoff on the four-wheeler was. They had it financed, and so they still ended up owing money after he sold this four-wheeler. So Chris is saying that that is what Shanann told him was her reasoning behind him not being allowed to touch the bank accounts and stuff. And he also says that he hopes that that was the reason, but he wasn't 100% sure because she actually liked to shop, that she would spend a lot of money and she would do this before she paid the bills that were due. So she was robbing Peter to pay Paul pretty much, and that they did not have money left over after she would go on these shopping sprees or go shop and do what she wanted, and that they paid $25,000 a year for the girls to go to school, and that she had to turn around and put her Thrive money right back into Thrive because it's very expensive. And I can tell you guys this because I did used to sell Thrive. If you want to give somebody a one-day sample of Thrive, it costs you, as the person selling it, $5. The company tells you that one day normally isn't felt, that some people have to thrive for 2 weeks before they feel it. So as representatives, when I was a rep, we would give out 3-day samples of Thrive. So that's $15 per prospect. Now, this is including people that leave it sitting on their counter, that don't try it, that are nervous of it. We are actually paying the same amount for the product that other people do. You just get so much money back. So initially, to get the product, you do pay that $150 for a month's supply, or it's $200 for a month's supply of the weight loss version. And it goes up from there. They have like pills that keep you regular. They have these little shots of energy that you can take before working out, and all of those are added on top. So if she was giving out any Thrive Cafe, or she was giving out any Pure or anything like that, that is on top. So think about it. You're spending $15 on one prospect and you don't even know if they're going to turn around and buy it. So Thrive is very expensive to give out, and I could tell from her videos that she did give out a lot of Thrive. So she was making great money, but she would turn around and put it back into the business. And she had Chris withdraw $10,000 from his 401k and pay on the house because they were behind. And so he had some resentment for that as well. And he said that he thought that the money that got pulled out of his 401k went to the house, but he would never know for sure. He didn't really even know what she did with it. So he pulled out $10,000 from his 401k, handed it over, and then never talked about it again. And it says that they were going to lose their house if they couldn't sell it, and that they honestly thought that it would get lost in foreclosure before they would be able to put it on the market and sell it. And that is why Shanann had called the realtor or emailed her. I'm sorry, Chris is the one that called her the day that he murdered Shanann, but Shanann a week earlier had emailed the realtor and told him that they were going to sell the house. the day that he killed Shanann, he called the realtor and said to go ahead and put it on the market. Crazy man, I'm telling you. Okay, so this was a pressure point for Chris, that he didn't have any control over his money. He felt like he was working all the time, and they constantly had money issues. And he said that he felt like they were definitely living beyond their means, and that they were living beyond the basic needs that they needed, and that they had already filed for bankruptcy once. And so he personally felt that they were headed that way again. And he would not talk to Shanann about any of this, and that he didn't even want to talk about how bad things were financially, and he didn't want the household money abused, but he wouldn't say anything. So in his mind, he's stewing, I don't want this money, household money that I'm bringing in, to be abused. He felt like they had enough to pay the house payment, which was like $2,800 a month, with what he brought in. But he said that she abused that money that he gave her to pay the house payments, and that's why he never had a dollar to his name. Now, these are all Chris's words, you guys. This is not the way I feel. This is exactly what's in the book in chapter 5. He feels now that he wished that the girls were in a more affordable school, and that since Shanann was working from home, that they could have went down to part-time, that they did not need to be at the daycare full-time, because the girls were there 5 days a week from 7:15 in the morning till 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And so he did not like that. He said that Celeste wasn't even 3 yet, so she didn't need to be there, and Bella was just 4. Now, Chris feels that there is more to the story that he felt like was being kept from him, and that the girls were going to a $500 a week daycare, and that he wasn't allowed to have an opinion on it. She basically said, this is the way it's going to go, and that's it. And he now knows that lots of things about their finances was kept from him. And these are some of the really hard things for his family to accept, because he used to be so good at paying his bills and doing things on time. And so this is really hard for them to know that Chris wasn't even allowed to mess with the finances, because they felt like they had taught him well to budget. And he says that he sealed the girls' records, that no one knows why. That he doesn't remember, but it was part of his plea deal. He knows that he had to seal the girls' records and that it was part of his plea deal at sentencing, but he doesn't remember why. He said that it was just one of the stipulations of the agreement, and that there was a lot happening during that time, and that he wasn't clear-headed. And he said that he wishes he could have handled the money better, and that Shanann was used to having the best of the best, that she was brought up with everything that money could buy, and that she did make great money, but again, he says that she put it back into the business, and that money was a big stressor for Shanann too, not just him, and that they also had all these medical bills from the past, plus they had reoccurring bills from medications that they had to have for the girls, and that those medical bills and the medications were affecting their budget hugely. And that he realizes that he should have taken charge of his family, and that the reason why he didn't is because he had just went through all those years not saying anything, and it worked for them. And he says he knew that Shanann wanted a husband that would take charge, but he just didn't have the confidence to be that person, and that it just wasn't who he is. And he says that he just did whatever he was told. And by his own admission, he said that he even had a hard time telling his coworkers that were underneath him what to do. That instead of telling them what to do, he was in a supervisor's position, you guys. This was his job. And he didn't like conflict so much that he would just go and do it himself, rather than tell the people that he had been given to direct what to do. So he would just go do it himself. So it must have been nice working on Chris's team at work. He did all the work and was afraid to tell anyone what to do. I bet they were begging to be on his team. And he also says that he felt emasculated and it was hard for him to take the lead because of that. And the author says that she researched some things about men being emasculated and that they normally do give most of the leadership decisions to their wife, and that they can't make any decisions because they're constantly second guessing themselves. And this is if you are a man that has been emasculated, and that you will start running from conflict, and that if your emasculation gets to a malignant level, then it could result to even killing. And that if something devastating happens to you during this emasculation malignancy, that it will build up resentment and it will cause you not to talk about it, and then it will come out in a dangerous way. And she also says that it's not known if Shanann emasculated Chris, but that's just what he's saying that she did. And that he had such a quiet personality. How in the world would Shanann ever know that he felt emasculated or that he was getting ready to blow? So then it says that he was afraid of her, and that's why up until the murders, he didn't even tell her about Nikki because he was scared of her. And any normal man would just tell his wife it's over and that we're divorcing and move on. And she says that Chris never learned coping skills and that he never learned how to be assertive. And she asked him why he never spoke up. And he says that he didn't realize it was so bad and that, again, it just worked for them. And he said that it was just their normal, and he didn't realize that it wasn't working until it was too late. And that he realizes now that it was building up in him and he was getting ready to implode. He said that there were times that they would be in confrontation and he would purposely not say anything, and he was smiling on the inside because he knew how he really felt. And that he knew better than to argue with her, or it was just going to be a big debacle. And he said that the last time he challenged her, that she told him to get out of her house, and that she made him leave overnight and locked him out of the house and would not let him back in until the next day. And he says that he had to do a lot of please forgive me groveling before she would let him back in. And it says that it gave him fear of going up against her. It also says that he decided not to ever argue with her after that point, after he got locked out of his house. And that he decided he was just going to take it. And that it wasn't like that all the time. And that there were signs of trouble everywhere, but neither one of them stopped to notice that it was happening to them. And that they both allowed their relationship to suffer, and they both stopped trying to fix it. But I feel like this was more than Chris because we all saw her trying to fix it in the end. And so I think he is just throwing her under the bus right now so he doesn't feel so bad for not doing it. But we all saw her text messages. She was asking friends. She got him that book that he put in the trash. And she tried to get him to go to Aspen and all kinds of stuff. She was trying, Chris. And that they had many happy times and many more happy than sad. And that he dwells on the happy times now. And that he longs to be with his family just one more time. And that he loves Shanann and the girls. And that he only has himself to blame. And he felt like that he could learn to love baby Nico. And he says that he craves to feel their touch. And he would love one more chance to hold his baby boy, or one chance to hold his baby boy. And Shanann told her friends that she wanted a man that could make decisions and be more assertive. And Chris says that was, again, just not him. And that their problems became so bad, even though they are just regular problems that many families face, that before the murders, they were so bad that working or concentrating on making them better would have never worked. And so the next chapter is what we've all been waiting for, The Mistress. And also, I am going to be watching where the 12-year-old was stabbed by her friends because of Slender Man. I will be doing a video on that as well. And I also wanted to let you guys know that I will not be putting my PayPal down below or anything like that, asking for donations. But I have had someone ask me about my nails. And I do sell these nails. They are 100% real nail polish strips that you just stick on. You don't have to wait for them to dry. You stick them on, you file them down, and they are good to go. And they do not mess up your nails. I have actually long nails, and I never have before, because the nail polish strips give you like a solid, hard, solid nail. And so there's over 200 different designs. You can just go on my website and order and have them sent directly to you. They're only $5 a pack, you guys, for any of them. And you can get 2 full manicures out of 1 pack. And so I just asked that you go and browse the site and see if there's something that you fall in love with. Again, they're only $5 a pack. And if you really love them and you want to stock up, they're always buy 8 and get your 9th one free. So don't forget to add the 9th one to your cart before you check out. And thanks so much for watching the video. And I will have more coming to you soon. Happy weekend, guys. Bye.